Security officials say they believe the 29-year-old Israeli Arab suspected of carrying out Friday's deadly shooting attack is still in the Tel Aviv area. Saudi Arabia executes 47 people, including a prominent Shiite cleric, prompting tensions with Iran, where clerics say this may lead to the fall of the Saudi ruling family. And the Al-Shabaab terrorist group cites Donald Trump as a recruitment tool for their cause, based on Trump's controversial remarks regarding Muslims in the United States. Good afternoon. Welcome to i24 News. I'm Danny Swibel with your hour's top stories. A massive manhunt continues today for the terrorists responsible for the shooting on Friday afternoon in Tel Aviv, which left 2 people dead and 7 others wounded. Security officials were quoted as saying they believe the attacker, a 29-year-old Arab Israeli, is still in the Tel Aviv area. Today, Israeli opposition leader Isaac Herzog issued a statement attacking Prime Minister Netanyahu over the attack, saying he is, quote, tired and has nothing more to offer the public. The i24 News desk summarized the incident.
A massive manhunt to track down the perpetrator of the New Year's Day shooting in Tel Aviv continued Saturday, the day after 2 people were killed and 7 wounded in the heart of Tel Aviv. The 2 young men who lost their lives in the attack were 30-year-old Shimon Rouimi and 26-year-old Alon Bakal.
My boy is dead. He wasn't an ordinary boy. He just finished his 4th year in law and business management. He was flourishing. He was a happy boy. He shone light wherever he went. He made everyone around him laugh.
Security camera footage and fingerprints led police to identify the assailant as a 29-year-old Israeli Arab from the northern region of Wadi Ara. Security forces were searching the Tel Aviv area for the suspect, but were also exploring the possibility that he had fled the metropolitan area, as well as scanning the village where his family lives.
Right now, our main task is to find the unknown perpetrator responsible for the shooting on Dizengoff 118. We're in a manhunt and an intensive investigation using all of the best resources that the Israeli police has in cooperation with whoever can help us with this probe.
According to media reports, his father saw the picture of the shooter caught on a security camera and called police. He told police that the attack was carried out using his gun, which his son stole. A senior security source revealed to i24 News that the shooter had a criminal record and had previously spent 5 years in Israeli prison. The shooter's cousin was killed by Israeli police in 2006, an event which the family says plunged the suspect into depression. Members of the suspect's family described him as mentally deranged. In a separate incident that occurred just minutes after the deadly shooting on Friday, a taxi driver was shot to death in northern Tel Aviv. Police were investigating the circumstances of the killing. Meanwhile, Britain issued a travel warning for Israel, referring to the wave of terror attacks in Israel and the West Bank, which have been occurring on an almost daily basis for the past 3 months.
And Saudi Arabia executed 47 people on Saturday for charges of terrorism, including the prominent Shiite Muslim cleric Nimr al-Nimr. Shiite Iran has warned that executing Nimr would, quote, cost Saudi Arabia dearly, with some clerics saying this could lead to the fall of the Saudi royal family. Angry reactions also came from Shiites in Lebanon and Yemen, calling the Saudi action a grave mistake and pronouncing Nimr as a holy warrior. Nearly 160 people were executed in Saudi Arabia in 2015, with beheadings reaching their highest level in over 2 decades.
The interference in judicial matters is unacceptable, and it is not possible to hear it because justice is a sovereign thing, and it is the right of the state to apply the rules and the legitimacy that rules our territory. Our justice is legal, objective. It has the tools and guarantees to ensure justice. These are guarantees imposed by Islamic law, international commitments, and degrees of procedure.
And a short time ago, I spoke with i24 News Middle East analyst Mohammed Al-Qasim on the rising tensions between Saudi Arabia and the Shiite world.
Saudi Arabia at this point is sending a message not only to its minority Shiite who resides mainly in the eastern part of the Saudi kingdom, that it will take serious steps toward not only imprisoning anybody who speak up and protest against the royal family and the Saudi government, but also it will execute them. And as we all know this morning, 47 prisoners have been executed. 45 of them were Saudis, and one from Chad and one Egyptian. This also sends a message to Iran that if it continues on, according to the Saudis and the Gulf countries, supporting anyone who to take on arms or protest against the Saudi and the Gulf countries, that it will handle this very decisively, and it will execute them. So there is a hidden message here, not only toward the Saudi minority Shiite in Saudi Arabia and in the Gulf, but also to Iran not to interfere in Saudi's business, internal politics.
And the Saudi-led coalition that has been bombing Shiite Houthi movement in Yemen for 9 months announced the end to a ceasefire that began on December 15th, but was repeatedly violated by both sides. The Saudi press agency said the ceasefire had reportedly come to an end due to the continuous rebel attacks on the kingdom's territories by firing ballistic missiles towards Saudi cities, targeting Saudi border posts, and hampering aid operations. Almost 6,000 people have died in fighting, with battle lines across the country stalemated for months as a diplomatic solution continues to remain elusive. And a suicide bomber attacked a popular restaurant in the Somali capital Mogadishu today, killing himself and at least 3 others, this according to Somali police. It was the 3rd time suicide bombers had attacked the Village Restaurant, an eatery in the south of the city popular with journalists and government officials, which was already hit by a deadly suicide bombing in 2012. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, but Al-Qaeda-affiliated Al-Shabaab extremists have carried out a series of similar attacks in the past. And Al-Shabaab found a new and interesting figure to help recruit new members. It's none other than Donald Trump, with his latest controversial remarks regarding Muslims in the United States. ABC News has the story.
Muslims of the West, take heed.
It's not from ISIS, but the Muslim extremist terror group Al-Shabaab. The Al-Qaeda arm in Somalia has posted a recruitment video using Donald Trump's famous vow to bar Muslims from traveling to the United States.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
The video is titled "The Path to Paradise" and encourages African Americans in the U.S. to convert to Islam and join the jihad. Trump's words are sandwiched between the recorded words of the U.S.-born cleric Anwar al-Awlaki, who was killed in a U.S. drone strike 4 years ago. He says the West will eventually turn on its Muslim citizens and seems to use Trump's words to support his premise. Hillary Clinton said ISIS would produce videos using Trump's Muslim travel ban as a recruiting tool. But until tonight, there had been no evidence of anything even close to that.
And now to the United States, where in his first weekly address for 2016, President Barack Obama said he will take unilateral action to tackle the problem of gun violence in the United States. Obama added that he will use his executive powers as president, since Congress has failed to address the problem.
A few months ago, I directed my team at the White House to look into any new actions I can take to help reduce gun violence. And on Monday, I'll meet with our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, to discuss our options. Because I get too many letters from parents and teachers and kids to sit around and do nothing. I get letters from responsible gun owners who grieve with us every time these tragedies happen, who share my belief that the Second Amendment guarantees a right to bear arms, and who share my belief we can protect that right while keeping an irresponsible, dangerous few from inflicting harm on a massive scale.
And in sports news, the Montreal Canadiens overwhelmed the Boston Bruins 5-1 in the NHL's annual Outdoor Winter Classics on Friday at the Gillette Stadium outside Boston. It was a great win for the visiting team, as the Bruins and the Canadiens hold a great rivalry, with both being 2 of the original 6 teams that made up the National Hockey League back in 1942. The Winter Classic is a game played outdoors, usually in a field, baseball field, and held for the first time in 2008.
Gallagher up the wing, watched by Seidenberg, flip one on a cross.
And those were your latest headlines with i24News. Be sure to join us again in 20 minutes for the latest, and check us out on our website, i24news.tv. I'm Danny Swibel. Thank you for watching.